Today we're talking about a few practices for successful 16th notes. Welcome back. Welcome to the studio. My name is Cassie and I'm a professional violist and teaching artist. So today I wanted to talk about a few techniques that I use when I have really long strings of 16th notes that I need to practice. Some of this is going to involve a metronome, so if you have a metronome or a metronome app, that would be really useful to have, and then maybe a pencil to make a few notes. So when you see a piece that's got a bunch of 16th notes, it could be a moto perpetuo, it could be a solo piece, it could be an orchestral piece. If we continue to practice it the same way by just running through the 16th notes, our brain kind of shuts off and we stop noticing the differences, or if we're even making progress. So I'm going to advocate that you set your metronome to a slower tempo first to work it up. I'm using the piece Boston Fancy, and my metronome is set to 70 to start. Now I'm going to play just that first line at the slower tempo, and I'm going to see what happens. 1 and 2. Okay, I was pretty successful with that. I felt like my left hand and my right hand were coordinated. I often see the main issue that my students have is that their left hand and their right hand aren't coordinated, which would maybe look like this. So sometimes I'm hearing the old note or the first note that I played on the bow for the second note. So my 1 is still down when I go to play the second note. So this is just a lack of coordination. One way that I might combat that is by changing my rhythms around. So instead of just playing straight 16th notes, I'm going to flip around my rhythm to be short long or long short. And we're going to do the short long version first. That sounds like this. Set 3. Set 3. Now the really important thing about this is as soon as your bow stops, you want to set the coming finger. So I'm going to say the coming finger this time so you know, and as soon as I say it, you got to set that finger. So it's short long, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3, 3, 4, 2, 2. Okay, if you were able to do that successfully, we're going to flip that rhythm around to be long, short. So that would sound like this. Set 2, set 1, set 1. Now the danger in this one is that we've got a long note first, and if I use too much bow on that, I end up getting stuck at the tip pretty quickly. So be really conservative with your use of bow on the quote long notes. Let's try that. So I'm going to play that first note and then stop immediately after it. 2, 1, 1, 2, oh, 1, 1, 2, oh, 1, 1, 3, 1, open. For some magical reason, if you practice it with those flip-flop rhythms enough times, it kind of evens out any of those coordination issues that you might have had. So that's stop 1, and you're going to do that at a really slow tempo. And when you feel like you're able to move to that faster tempo, you again can play it with the odd-even rhythms or the short, long, long, short rhythms. You can play it with a metronome or without a metronome, but that would be my first stop. Another way that you can practice your 16th notes is by changing around the bowings. For instance, in Boston Fancy, all of these notes are separate notes. So instead of me playing them separately, I'm going to choose different slurring patterns. So because I've got 2 pickup notes, I'm just going to start with a up bow, and I'm going to slur 2 notes for that entire passage. And again, I can do this with a metronome or without a metronome. I'm going to do it with a metronome. I'm at 70. Ready? Go. I'm going to keep the same tempo, but I'm going to slur 4 notes this time, minus the first 2 notes. So it's slur 2 and then slur 4. Ready? Go. So again, if I had success with that, I might want to speed up the metronome and try the same idea. Now we've only slurred by beat. So for instance, we slurred 4 notes, which was 1 entire beat. If you really want to give your brain a workout, you're going to slur across beats. So what I mean by that is I'm going to slur the first two notes of the piece to the next two notes of the piece. So we're going to be slurring essentially by the half beat. That would look like this. Ready? Go. Change, 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 change. You can also try that by just slurring the first two notes and then doing the next three notes. You can really give your brain a workout by doing those really weird slurring. So that would look like the first two notes and then three notes each after that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Anything to kind of keep your brain engaged in a novel or new way is going to be a more successful practice session than just playing through over and over again. I know that would be really, really frustrating for me. I know it's really frustrating for a lot of my students who think that that's the only way you can practice 16th notes. Another way we could practice 16th notes is by separating our hands out. So I could just play with my left hand and I could just play with my right hand. We're going to start with left hand. So I'm going to do the correct fingers. If it helps you to say them out loud, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, that's fine too. You can do this with a metronome, without a metronome. I'm going to put mine on just to keep myself honest. So that would look like this. I'll get a little closer so you can see. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 0, 0. Or I could just use my bow, and I'm going to do my fingers on the top of my instrument. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 0, 0. I could also do that with my bow on the string, not in the air. On the strings that I would use if I had fingers down, but I'm just separating it out and doing just my open strings. Sometimes this is really, really useful if you've got a lot of string crossings and it's super, super tricky. Sometimes we think it's the left hand that's the issue, but really it's the bow that's the issue. So when you separate out those two things, you can see, oh, clearly my bow doesn't really know which string to be on. So that's just a handful of ideas of different ways you could practice 16th note passages. If you have any of your favorites that I didn't mention here, please post those in the comments below and share that with our community. It's really great to have people watching from all over the world, and if you've got some suggestions that I didn't mention, I would love for other people to benefit from your knowledge. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and happy practicing.